Live from Cool Boys Central.
You can be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Hold your dicks and rub your tits.
You'll be ice cold.
Here come the Cool Boys.
Just a young boy.
So cool.
So cool. So cool.
I see Cool Boys.
That sounded nice.
That's a Claremont baseline, folks. Double India Pale Ale with a lemon peel.
Named after Chris Claremont, who wrote for the opposite of what we're talking about tonight. I am drinking Captain Morgan Long Island iced tea pre-mixed, but I mix it with some Coke to give it that proper iced tea flavor. And for a non-alcoholic thirst quencher, I'm drinking Wonder Woman Dr. Pepper. There she is.
Yeah, diet though.
There's
Diet.
the current woman I'd choose to fuck over any woman right now, probably.
Oof.
Oh, really? Wow.
I thought this was a very fitting episode coming off the last episode with hard bods because it was like Themyscira or whatever it is. It was just like full of just so many just sexy hard-bodied women.
Hard bod Island.
Robin Wright Penn looked amazing.
For her age.
For her age. She looked amazing. Absolutely.
For her age.
How old is she? 80? 82?
Low 90s. Greetings, Cool Boys Nation, and welcome to a special episode of the Cool Boys Podcast. Spoilercast for Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
No. That's no longer the theme song. Now it's angry and played with an electric cello.
Wonder Woman.
As always, I'm Felk.
And I'm Wonder Ballard.
And it's a dynamic duo this evening.
Yep, that's right. Noli will be watching the movie in 2 days or so, and we'll end up being able to talk about it on the next episode as his update, I'm sure.
You sure?
Yeah, he said he's watching on Wednesday.
I guess planning means probably it will happen.
Yep, absolutely.
This is, of course, an easy movie to take the ladies to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you get laid, I'm sure, right away.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, certainly more so than watching, I don't know, Irreversible.
Ooh, Irreversible. Yeah, that would not. Yeah, that whole 9-minute long take.
Maybe let's not talk about Irreversible. I probably shouldn't have even mentioned it.
Yeah, right in the middle of this episode, huh?
Yeah. All right. Well, so do we want to begin?
Irreversible. Monica Bellucci. Perfect Wonder Woman cast.
Yeah.
Right there. So I think before we get into this, let's just give our ratings out first. So let's just hear how many cool boys you would give it, Phil. How many cool boys did you give Wonder Woman?
On a scale that I still understand to be 0 to 5 cool boys, I will give it 4, maybe even 4.5 boys.
Ooh, so many boys.
Just 4.5.
I would give it 1 boy.
Seriously?
And from this point on out, it's spoilers.
Is that seriously your rating? It's time for
Spoilers. So juicy.
Moving through the movie somewhat chronologically, the very first thing you see after the classic Warner Brothers logo is the brand new DC logo, which, I mean, I guess it just represents any DC things at Warner Brothers because it's not like they're an independent studio. But what did you think of the new logo?
Hated it.
Really?
Hated it. It reminded me of Justice League from 2000.
Exactly. It was just like the Justice League. Very. Okay, we can't do this the entire episode. I'm gonna go insane. No, it was very reminiscent of the opening to Justice League, and I guess I like it. They're definitely embracing the fact that they are a comic book studio. I hate the new Marvel logo that starts Doctor Strange, where they show the actors. It's like, no, show the comic books, show your lineage.
Well, they do show a lineage in the Marvel one. Oh my God, how do we get into Marvel so fast and then Wonder Woman spoiler cast?
Because we're talking about comic book studios.
I know,
logos.
I know. But anyways, Marvel starts off with the normal flippity flap of pages, and then
not the new one, not
the
Doctor Strange one.
Yeah, it does. It does start the same way, but then it gets into quick concept art actually from films like the Avengers and so forth and Iron Man, and then it goes into live action images of like I think it's actually Bifrost you see, and then you start to see I think maybe like Elizabeth Olsen and Tony Stark, and then maybe Black Panther right away, and then you kind of like, so forth. But you do see, like, I think the very first live action image you see is Chris Evans throwing the shield right after you see a concept art of him throwing the shield.
You see, you see very painting-esque animated stuff, but
concept art.
Yeah, exactly. And like Scarlet looks like Scarlet. That's the first recognizable face, ScarJo Hansen. And then it gets into clips from the movies, and I thought that I missed the original, the flippity floppity pages, simple Marvel Studios, and I mean, DC never really had that. The best logo they had was the opening of The Dark Knight, where it was the black and white.
That was the best.
Yeah.
I call that the pointillism one, where it's like all the lights are shining, all the spotlights are shining, and it turns out to be the different pointillism aspects of the comic printing. Yeah, I thought that was awesome. That's my favorite by far.
Cool Boys Podcast word of the day. Pointillism.
Point it up. Anyway, so let's get into this movie. So I'll give out my real rating. I definitely give this movie. It's a real tough one for me. It's between 4.5 out of 5 versus 5 out of 5, and for me, it's like
That's why I said 4.5. Oh, you said.
Yeah. I'm on the edge of 5 stars.
Ooh, wow.
Because for me, like the little bit that's taken away. Like I think that it hurts the movie is only like completely like balanced out to be a 5-star with all the sexiness, and this movie is full of sexiness. This movie has lots of sexy gripping, has some sexy winks, sexy eye play, sexy mouth play, little bites of the lip, sexy looks, sexy outfits, sexy names. Everybody in Themyscira has a sexy name, and their outfits are all incredibly sexy. The Queen has an incredibly sexy outfit. I mean, the whole thing.
Let's get a whole hour. Keep going. Sexy. What else? Sexy water. Sexy planes. Sexy wars. Sexy amputees. Sexy trains. Sexy ice cream. Sexy dresses.
Sexy scenes.
Sexy old British guys.
There was a very sexy fountain scene.
The fountain was one of the sexier things in the movie.
It may have had the sexiest first action sequence of any movie with the Amazonians taking out the German soldiers. That was very sexy. It felt like I was watching a like one of those Ralph Bashki drawings come to life, like their outfits and everything like that. Like they were really, really wonderfully
sexy drawings
clad.
Wait, so side note there, did you watch Fire and Ice?
I haven't, but I popped it in and scanned it for a second.
Did you get a Blu-ray or DVD?
Blu-ray.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yep. So anyway, I think that was just what a treat, And then Gal Gadot just was just killing the role and looked fantastic. I mean, she just really was just perfect everywhere around, from like her acting was just so perfect. Wonder Woman,
really,
her characterization was great. Wonder Woman, especially at this point, like Wonder Woman, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, going out in the world, she nailed it. I don't know if she could nail war-torn Wonder Woman many years down the line, which is kind of the Wonder Woman we saw in BVS. We'll have to see more of that in Justice League to be able to tell, but I think Joss Whedon, based on what I saw, can take what she proved in Wonder Woman and just make that just sing, honestly.
So it's already Justice League's already Joss Whedon's movie now.
It is. Sorry. Oops.
I mean, he's reshooting for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he's already been working on the script, so I mean, he's gonna have a pretty big influence, even if he is claiming to allow Zach to still have his film. I still think Joss will have an influence on the film. And you know what? This movie had some pretty fucking amazing comic book action. Actually, I thought it was nice and innovative. Like the way the Amazonians fought with their arrows and jumping off horses and whatnot.
Okay,
and the way that
I have to see it again because I sat very close to the screen
Oof.
and had a very, very digital projector because I saw it at Lamley. Just it is not. I need to see it again because the action sequences. I can't tell if it was just the fact that I was too close and the projector was too blurry, but I couldn't tell what was going on in most of the action sequences. And I have seen like other critics say that. I mean, not that I'm a critic, but critics say that the action sequences are probably one of the worst parts about it. And I would kind of agree. Like, I thought the action was kind of confusing, a little too close up, a little too quick cut, a little too much of Zack Snyder, like circa like 2007, like time ramp stuff that even he kind of has abandoned.
Yeah, but that kind of works where you play into the whole DCEU. Like, then it actually all looks the same, similar to how all the Marvel movies all look the same, unlike how all the X-Men films don't look the same.
Man of Steel, he even though it's Zack Snyder's style, watch Man of Steel. Never time ramps, never slow-mos, anything. It's very weird that he like abandoned his own technique, and then this movie looks more like 300 than Man of Steel when it's on action.
BVS has ramping.
It does have, yeah. He definitely brought it back, and I kind of wonder if that's just Christopher Nolan departing because Christopher Nolan's like, yeah, don't do that.
No, I think Zack Snyder took that on as like a major, like, watch me change my style, you stupid fan bitches who can't stop hating me. I'm gonna be different. It's gonna look totally like a real movie, you know. And then people came out and they're like, it looks stylized, you know. It still hurt him.
For our sexy listeners, a little bit of pre-information. Ballard and I are two of the 2% of America who really likes Man of Steel.
Love it. A 5-star movie.
I agree.
BVS is for me. BVS, and I only consider one version of BVS whenever I talk about it. I am speaking only about the Ultimate Edition. And the Ultimate Edition for me, also a 5-star movie. Might be 4-star, but I say it's a 5-star movie.
Interesting. Okay, because I was going to say there's no point in us ranking them.
Suicide Squad is like a 2-star movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I was going to assume we would both say Man of Steel is the best, followed by, at least I would say Man of Steel is the best, followed by Wonder Woman, followed by Batman v Superman Extended Cut, although they're close.
Let's rank it.
In terms of ranking for the DCEU, most people will put this at the top. I'm saying it's still Man of Steel is the best, followed by, I guess, Wonder Woman. Although certainly over the theatrical cut, I would say the extended edition might be more on par with this, and then Suicide Squad's at the bottom in the garbage bin.
All right. I would say for me, the DCEU goes Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, or the only edition.
Okay.
And Suicide Squad.
Okay.
So I think, is that the exact same list you just had?
Yeah.
Well, twinsies.
Yeah.
I think it's a really easy ranking, honestly. But you know what? I would probably think that
most people will put Wonder Woman at the top. Most people do not like Batman of Steel at all.
Do you think most people actually would put Wonder Woman at the top over Man of Steel? Really?
I mean, the critics certainly did. That's the critical census. And audience score says the same thing. So yeah. Although the audience score for Suicide Squad was higher than Batman v Superman, so who knows? Yeah.
See, the Suicide Squad's fucking horseshit. I think Man of Steel is the best because it's the one that didn't require tinkering to get back to being the best, like BVS did.
Oh, well, I wasn't even like, yeah. I mean, it's impossible for me to watch the extended cut of BVS without remembering the first 2 times I saw it as this very confusing experience where when the big fight happens, I was like, well, I guess I'm kind of convinced that they're going to fight.
See, I haven't seen it since. Like, literally, I've not seen the theatrical version since. I've only watched the Ultimate Extended. I've watched it many times. I really like it. I love it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It totally gets me when Superman like steps up and like, you know, it's like, I'm gonna fucking go kill myself. Like, I'm always like, oh my god, he's doing it for me. Yeah, anyways, well, you know, I thought, like, you know, one of the actually good things about Wonder Woman, I saw it from further back, was some of the action sequences. I thought some of the CGI wasn't very good at times, but the action sequences, especially the No Man's action sequence scene when it like kind of starts off with like, fading in on the battlefield and like just, the German artillery going off. And then you see her kind of just marching through the trenches, like not understanding like what the fuck is going on. Like, why is everybody not going up there? And just really showing how naive she is, but at the same time showing like just how truthful, righteous, and like, forthcoming she is. And like, there's all this bravery and courageousness that Wonder Woman is. And that's like one of the great things about her as a character. And then just like marching straight out to no man's land, taking on all the gunfire, and then taking out the entire trench, and then just being like looking back at Steve Trevor and just being like, let's fucking keep going, motherfucker. And then like just kept going into the town, and then just took out the Germans again, and then goes into the buildings, and then just wrecks house. Like literally just wrecks house. And ended up to the sniper scene when she jumps through the church steeple and just takes out the top half of the church. That was awesome. Or at least the whole tower of the church. I can't remember what it was exactly that got destroyed, but my God, that was just such a great use of her powers, and just also just a great use to show that she's like a force of nature, like she's just woman, hear me roar.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was probably the early part before it gets muddled and kind of a little too quickly cut to understand what's happening. The walking up the stairs was good. We're not following the outline at all, by the way. Next up was going to be... Oh, wait, we are. No Man's Actions. Oh, I missed it. Look at you.
So smooth, buddy. So smooth.
Okay. Well, I guess we are following that. Then that's the next thing.
You know what, though?
So we're not doing the movie chronologically at all, I guess.
No, we don't have to go through chronologically the film. I just kind of like, when I think of it, I just kind of like to think of like the things that... I write down the outline, just a couple of things that I liked, things, or the things I didn't like, or
we
things
just
I
skipped
thought
an hour
no.
into the movie, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all right, at some point we have to mention the fact that Wonder Woman should be taking place during World War II, and they made a creative decision to make it look a little bit less like Captain America and Thor at the same time, which is pretty much what it is. And switch it to World War I.
It works better than both of them.
It certainly, yeah.
Thor's like a 3 out of 5 boys, but for me, First Avenger, Captain America: The First Avenger, is like 2 out of 5 boys.
I think that's one of their best movies. I think First Avenger is better than Winter Soldier. Oh, what? Because I really like Joe Johnson. I love The Rocketeer, and I felt like I was reminded of The Rocketeer the entire movie. It felt very classic, very movie.
Hey, rewatch The Rocketeer.
I rewatched it in 2013.
I guess that's okay. Really?
Mm-hmm.
You really liked it?
Totally forgot that the bald guy from Lost plays Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
When he still had hair. Oh man, that was such a cool
Locke.
scene. Rocketeer holds up. Rocketeer holds up just fine.
Was it Terry O'Quinn, I think, or something?
Yeah,
like that?
you know what else holds up fine? Jennifer Connelly's tits.
You know what holds up fine? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Okay. Oh,
That's
right.
Joe Johnson.
Yeah. I was like, what? I thought for a second there was like, you might as well have said Benji until I realized it was the
You
same
know
director.
what doesn't hold up okay, though? Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. Yeah, that doesn't hold up as well.
No, I was going to say Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend.
Oh, no. All right, wait. I totally just saw in theaters right now the female version of Captain America: The First Avenger.
Mixed with Thor. Mixed with Thor.
I mean, that really, really was what that was. And it's very weird that like it's hard to like go without saying that, but you have to almost say that. So yeah, so what I think is really crazy about it is that like, they have bookends even like Captain America does. The First Avenger did. And Captain America: The First Avenger, the bookends kind of actually make sense because they have to acknowledge that yes, we're currently in present Marvel, flashback to
same here.
To Marvel of yesteryear, and then we'll jump back in and we'll see how the story progresses.
Yeah,
from that point.
It's the exact same thing here.
But this movie was different. This movie had a bookend where we just saw her show up to work at Paris Louvre and as like some antiquities director in the museum.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, oh, I got this photo from Bruce Wayne. Oh, I remember Steve Trevor. And then she has a flashback about how she was a baby and like, had a wonderful painting story about, Roman gods fighting, followed by, training, followed by eventually bumping into Steve Trevor, then like following him into, World War I and whatnot. But here's the thing that I find very weird, right? So then the movie ends and like he dies, but she's just kind of like, I will stand strong for mankind and I will fight atrocities. And it's like, wait, whoa. That's not the Wonder Woman of BVS at all. Like, I don't see it. Like 100 years later, she's like just totally not down with mankind. Like, what happened? There's
Something.
more.
Well, a lot happened. We don't see that. We're just seeing the
Are
story.
they really gonna be like it didn't happen then? It happened in 1945.
Yeah,
you know?
that I assume that is they're setting up. There's more to that character's backstory. This is the backstory of the photo, and because you don't do the photo without at least explaining who she is, and that was Ares, which is kind of her obsession since she was a kid. It's kind of like the early parts of her life. But yeah, something happened between the end of this movie and where we see her at the beginning of Batman v Superman.
But she says 100 years ago, I lost faith in man. See, here's what I think. I feel like Ares was almost tacked on, and the real ending was supposed to be General Ludendorff just dying and him not being Ares, and then like being like, see, there is no Ares. Men are just evil now. And then her just being like, oh, I totally lost faith in men. And I thought that was actually going to be the ending. At one point, I was like, oh, this would be great. Actually, if there's no like crazy villain character at the end. And then, boom, nope. Major classic CGI villain battle sequence.
Yeah, I did. Based on what you see in BVS, it would assume that this movie would end with a little bit of a twist where it turns out like so she got betrayed or something like Steve Trevor was bad or so, or the Ares thing, and that's what she just like, I'm going back to Themyscira. I don't like humanity anymore. And then she comes back, but I mean that doesn't explain why she's back on Earth being an art dealer. I don't know.
Well, speaking on that, let's go into villains. So, what do you think of the villains of the movie?
Danny Houston, who is also the villain of the best Marvel movie. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah,
great
movie.
He is one of 17 actors who have played Colonel William Stryker, along with Brian Cox and that one guy from Days of Future Past, and Joaquin Phoenix, and of course Brad Pitt played him in X-Men: The Saga of Jubilee's Pants. So yes, Danny Houston plays, I guess, General Ludendorff. I certainly did not remember his name.
Who is actually a real person?
He's a real historical character?
Yes.
Wow. Way to fuck over that real guy. So General Ludendorff, played by Danny Houston, because we're in spoilers, is set up as Diana thinks he's Ares the entire movie. That didn't work on you, right? You didn't buy that for 1 fucking second, right? Because I knew very early on that as soon as they showed David Thewlis, I was like, okay, so he's Ares. And then they, of course, show that Danny Houston's sniffing like super strength powder. So it's like, okay, so that's how he can fight with her. So obviously he's not Ares.
For me, that was okay. So when I saw him do the powder sniff and he got all powered up, I was like, okay, that's a little too heavy. I think that's going to be a bait and switch. And then what sealed it for me, it sounds like a little bit later than you, probably not much later, but a little bit later, is there's a scene where David Thewlis comes back to Steve Trevor and Diana, and he's like, I'm willing to help you on the low. And that's when I was like, oh, he's got a cane. Ares, because Ares is healing. That's the whole thing about Ares, is that he's like chilling out, healing somewhere. That's potentially where he's at. So that's when I was like, okay. And then I thought Diana was the God Killer as soon as she asked her mom like about seeing it or something like that in the beginning, and her mom was like, and I was like, oh, of course, duh. That's obviously Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the original story for Wonder Woman origin was that she was indeed made from fucking clay and brought to life by Hippolyta and brought to life by Zeus, and then they changed it to she's just Zeus's daughter. And so this was basically like a fake out, like the original origin, but the new 52 origins, what's real.
That's correct. Yes, this was a combination of getting everybody their cake to eat it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. That was what it was, and it worked out great. I thought it was great. I thought it was like a great little nursery rhyme to tell their her daughter no, you were made out of clay. It's so cute. Clay. It's like nice and soft. And then she can be like, wow, that's cool. I've totally bought that because I'm a little kid.
She buys it when she's like 30.
No, I think she's supposed to be playing way younger then. I thought she was like practically like 18, 20, whatever, like or whatever that equals to in hundreds of years life.
Well, she is 32 and a gal, and also we need to establish this: is it Godot, Godot, or Godot? Because I've heard.
I will be
three.
saying Godot, and that's probably all I'll be saying.
Godot. I'm gonna say
sorry,
Godot
gal.
as well. Yeah, she's 32 and a mother of two.
You're amazing.
So she's not innocent. I mean, she looks her age. She could pull off maybe 28 at the youngest. No way she's 19.
No, but I think she's supposed to be really young and like, you know, and I think she's supposed to be purposely like sheltered and naive.
Well, who knows how old how they age? Maybe the scenes where she's like a fucking little girl is like 500, 200, whatever years ago. Maybe 5,000 years ago. Maybe she's 5,000. I think she's supposed to be 5,000.
We're here with Gal Gadot. Here's Gal.
Hello, my name is Gal Gadot. I'm obviously Israeli.
Gal Gadot. Well, okay, so with General Ludendorff, I thought one of the things I liked about it was that how Steve Trevor was like trying to kind of fight the war, and she was trying to fight the boss at the end of the game. And I like that they had conflicts that way in their ideologies and how they wanted potentially the same goals. They just had different ways of handling it, and also different morals or different choices in ways they were willing to like sacrifice. And I thought that was awesome. And one of those things I liked was how when Steve Trevor stops her in the dance or the ball and from killing General Ludendorff, but in the result is that he does set off those, you know, mortars and artillery shells, those massive, you know, howitzers, and just takes out the town and just completely poisons them. And I thought that was absolutely crazy. You know, it was just to see. I mean, it was like DC was clearly just once again was just like, I liked how DC owned it this time. They were like, yeah, it's dark.
Yeah, because Diana possibly
calls
that, right? Diana possibly fucked it up by going in there. Like Steve Trevor might have been able to. He might have been able to stop it.
I think she really blames him, and she's right. No, I mean, she could have, if she killed him right then, they would not have fired those howitzers off. They would have been in a total panic about a dude who just got killed by this like hardcore, hot, sexy chick who just walked in the room. So anyways, but then I do love how like she practically enacted revenge almost immediately, and she rode that horse in like a badass. I thought the CGI wasn't that bad actually when she got on the horse and then hopped over the gate and then just cut through the fence and then just took out all those soldiers. That was awesome. I just loved how like, you know, that whole ending then just climaxed from that point on until she just beat the fuck out of General Ludendorff. She just threw the dude all over the place, and it ended up being just a normal human being, which I love. That's the reveal in the end. Not only is it just like, oh, he's not Ares. No, he was just a normal human being who got his ass just handed to him and thrown through walls and everything, thrown through fucking ceilings, grabbed with a whip and tossed back fucking down onto a roof. Dude got fucking destroyed, and she just beat the fuck out of this guy and then just stabs him through the fucking heart. It was fucking hardcore, and it was a great revelation to watch her go through immediately afterwards to see that she just like totally became this weapon, the God Killer. So yeah, and then that leads obviously to Ares' reveal and twist. What'd you think of that reveal and twist, Felk?
So what you just described to me was just like going through the motions. It was one of the low parts of the movie because I fucking totally saw that coming.
Yeah, but I was really satisfied with the way it played out still.
That was awkward. Like there was awkward moments like where she reaches for her sword and then she doesn't have her sword and she has to jump up on the roof and get the sword, and then it's like next shot she's just jumping down from the sword. It's like that was kind of like unusual. That was kind of one of the lowest things where I'm like, I'm 10 steps ahead of you, movie. Let's get on with it. What I didn't see coming was what happened next. Like I did not know how the movie would resolve itself from that point on. And that's why I like that stuff. I mean, I honestly, I've never really liked Chris Pine because to me, there is only one Kirk, and that's really all I know him from. But he kind of like props up this movie quite a bit in what could have been a very by the book role. He is not only charming, but
he's charming, and he also knows his place. He knows that he's second in this movie, and he has to play it down, and he needs to also. He gives Gal all that like that prestige, that all the weight. He helps with that by the way he kind of handles himself around her. That he's this attractive man, this handsome man who's actually like, you know, kind of befuddled and like,
No, I don't really.
Oh
agree
no,
with
a
any
little
of that.
bit. Like he helps it for sure, and he's great. I mean, he's really great. I mean,
No, because I kind of disagree completely on that, because I think one of the things this movie does do well is one of the many reasons I absolutely hate the 2016 Ghostbusters remake is that every man in that movie is either functionally retarded, which is Chris Hemsworth, just
which
an
is
error.
funny as
Just
fuck. It's funny. It is fucking funny.
Well, perhaps I took it more personally, specifically. Like, and every other man is an asshole, and then the villain is clearly a not even remotely thinly veiled insult to autistic adult males.
And then on top of that, they also kill the villain in Ghostbusters by shooting him in the dick.
Yes. So where Wonder Woman lets Steve Trevor, he's a hero in this movie. He is, but he's not on the same mission as her. She's on a mission to like save humanity in a much greater sense. He knows that he actually saves the day in the movie, but he even has that line where he says like, I can save today. And by dying, and that's what made that sacrifice like work, is that he's not, for as a man, there is a character for you there in the movie too, and that's what makes the movie not feel like a fuck you. It feels like just a fun movie, and I
agree with that, but I still think that he helped. He being probably the better actor between the two of him and Gal. Yeah, he helped prop her up. I think for a better way to handle.
Oh yeah. No, again, he has, just as an actor, has probably a little bit more experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, doing that stuff. Yes. Oh,
but
definitely.
He was fantastic in the role. I thought he did a great job. I loved his sacrifice in the end. I thought it was totally the Steve Rogers I wanted. I mean, Steve Trevor I wanted to see. Oh no, but that was really fucking awesome, because he, like, the way he kind of like.
Yeah, Steve Rogers is kind of a bitch. Steve Trevor kind of owns him, because Steve Trevor fucks the girl.
Steve Rogers in the books is not a bitch in the way he goes down. The first Avengers is just really, really fucking terrible the way they handle his sacrifice. But anyways, this movie though, I love that Steve Trevor has to die, that he has to be the catalyst that causes her to, like, kind of shun away from humanity.
It seemed like she inspired him that humanity has good in it and is worth protecting.
I thought so
by the
too,
end
but
of the
I don't
movie.
think that's where this movie's going to go. I don't think we're, honestly, just like First Avenger, I don't think we're revisiting the past. I think Wonder Woman from this point on will be like Winter Soldier, and then like, Civil War.
I hope not. That'd be wrong for the character.
So it may be so, but I don't think they're going backwards with Wonder Woman. I think they're going to try to stay within. I think Wonder Woman's the next big franchise for them. I think it's going to be like, let's get the next Wonder Woman out, and let's get the next Batman still out.
Yeah.
Flash, let's hold on until we find somebody that's right. Man of Steel 2, whatever it is. Hopefully it's called Man of Tomorrow, which I saw some like fan trailer called that. I thought that was a brilliant name for it, actually, Man of Tomorrow. But that's probably going to be on hold. Justice League 2 will be on hold. Green Lantern Corps will probably be on hold. The next movie fast-tracked immediately will be Wonder Woman 2. Yeah. Then it'll be like the Batman, and then maybe Suicide Squad or some variation of Batgirl or Gotham Sirens. That's my guess.
Possibly. I mean, we'll see.
Based on no information whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't entirely know if that's true, because its opening box office weekend was lower than Man of Steel. So it's like... and way lower than BVS. It did well,
but it's a smaller IP. I mean, honestly, and it's a riskier IP, and it did fucking amazing considering. Mm-hmm. That's what's fantastic about it. But I guess to go back to it, I still thought that Chris Pine did a great job as Steve Trevor, and I really loved his sacrifice. I thought to see his revelation of when he was at the moment he had to do it, but how he was so happy he was able to like save today. That was awesome. And then I absolutely loved the way, like, you saw their goodbye the second time. And you kind of like, the shell shock is gone.
Oh, I did not like that.
She finally processed it. I loved that.
I didn't get... okay, so just to clarify, if you're shell shocked and you lose your hearing, when your hearing returns, you don't remember
Are
what
you
you
Wonder
didn't
Woman,
hear.
Felk?
Okay, yeah, all right. If you want to say that...
Do you have wonder ears?
Okay, if you're going to say that's because she's a demigod, and because demigods process, shell shock probably differently somehow. I mean, it plays dramatically. It plays a story, but it was kind of like, how does she have this information now, but she didn't have it then? I didn't understand that.
Because shell shock, what it does is it momentarily, you forget something. I pulled that right out of my ass.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Well, nonetheless,
it works. It works dramatically. It works as dramatically as a moment. Had she gotten that information and heard it then, that might have been post-production up to replay the scene. I don't really know.
Joss Whedon.
No, Joss Whedon wasn't involved in this.
Patty Jenkins swears up and down, I'm sure Joss Whedon didn't touch this, and it's just going to be everyone. Did you think that scene was Joss Whedon?
Yeah, he didn't touch this at all, except he wrote a script for Wonder Woman like 10 years ago that's still at Warner Brothers. So somebody could have looked at that script.
Joss.
I kind of don't like Joss Whedon anymore.
Can you hear my biscuit?
Yeah.
So okay, well, cool. I think so you know what? Interesting enough. I want to think about like after this whole idea of like his sacrifice, and it still doesn't really make sense that her abandonment of humanity comes from this sacrifice, but the movie doesn't end that way. But the movie doesn't end in the 1918 or whatever it was at that time that way. She's very uplifted. It doesn't seem like she's very depressed by humanity. No. I still think the movie would have been more interesting if it ended with her just killing a general and realizing that doesn't stop war. But moving on,
the audience would not have liked that.
I think what's interesting is you flash forward to her back in Paris, the Louvre, and all of a sudden I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be just the score or it was also a score / sound effect, quote unquote, that you hear a boom
tubes,
and she looks up and she's not looking at anything, but she's looking at the roof to essentially be like, there's something, hark, do you hear that? Yep. And then shows her like suiting up and then jumping and then whatever it looks like flying. So I guess 2 questions for you, Felk. A, can she fly now, or can she just do what Hulk does, which is leap, incredibly? And the other question is she leaping into the beginning of Justice League? Yeah. So
the theory is that those are boom tubes, what you're hearing, which are the.
But you don't see anything in that wide shot. Okay.
I believe the theory is because the sound. If you remember Justice League, or if you remember the animated series, sounds just like the boom tubes that Darkseid would, or I guess the Steppenwolf would be sending parademons to Earth with. So,
man, so you think that's like maybe the first sequence in Justice League is Wonder Woman, and that would be so fitting of Joss Whedon.
Yeah, that would be very much if it just opens up with her flying into Paris and has a quick sequence, and then she's contacting Batman, being like, "Hey,
Brucey,
there's parademons.
Brucey, die, I need you." And
then that's what sends Bruce on his quest to go find Aquaman and Barry Allen and everything.
Arthur, where are you? Where are you, Arthur? I need to find Barry. Where's Barry? Barry.
Okay. They couldn't call her Wonder Woman once in the movie, huh? Too hard.
No, but they called it Paradise Island.
Did they say Paradise Island? I just remember Themyscira.
No. Steve Trevor, I think he's on it at one point. He's like, it's like something like, to be trapped here on Paradise Island.
No, because it's but ladies.
Yeah, but the hot, sexy hard bods.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of all the Amazonians, minus Gal Gadot.
Okay.
Who's your hard bod?
There were so many.
One.
It definitely was not Connie Britton or Connie Nielsen or whatever her name is, or Robin Wright fucking Penn. Sorry, Robin Wright. You'll always be Robin Wright Penn to me. It was one of the many hot extras that were there. There was a lot of them.
I might have to go with. I think it was like a blonde.
Yeah, I want to say there was a blonde one that was really hot.
There was like a hot, sexy blonde one. Yeah, I can't remember. Like,
there was too many to. So that not super important.
You know what? Her name was Dotzen Kroos or whatever. That I guess that was that.
She model. In there? Oh wow. Oh yeah.
I don't know her name. Is that how you pronounce her name? I have no idea. I'm sure I just butchered the hell of that name.
I think Dotzen Cross or Dotzen Kroos is correct.
Oh really? Like, who's your favorite like actual Wonder Woman that's live action and or animated?
There's only 2 live action.
Yeah, well, unless you want to count Adrian Pilecki.
I haven't seen that. No one else has.
I have.
Yeah, no, the DCAU is pretty much my definitive every DC character. So that
Bruce Timm one was wonderful.
that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was amazing, but I still think that Gal Gadot is for me the most definitive Wonder Woman at this point.
Yeah.
She looked really confident in that costume. I think one of the things that's interesting is that, with Christopher Reeve, a lot of people make the comparison with Christopher Reeve and her is the alley scene where she blocks, the bullets. But I think the interesting thing about her and Christopher Reeve that's actually a real comparison that's really interesting is the fact that he was really confident in a really stupid costume. And she was really confident in a really stupid costume.
Oh, I like the costume.
She looked great in it. I love the costume, but it was a stupid costume if you think about it in theory. Christopher Reeves actually made the costume, like he actually pulled off the costume of this stupid leotard. But what I think what's interesting is that Gal Gadot was actually able to take this brass gold outfit that everybody was wearing, or some form of fashion of leather, gold and whatnot, Greek, and then grab this bright red and bright blue costume and put it on and pull it off 100% and looked great every time when the coat opened up and it just showed the costume underneath and they were trying to cover it up.
All looked good.
Looked amazing. She looked fantastic the whole time, and some of that I know was CGI because she was pregnant during some of that.
Yeah,
and she said she had to cover up her belly with like a green little sheet, and then they just CGI'd
That's
it
a lot
out.
of the blue dress scene.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, she looked fantastic in that dress.
That scene,
all the right baby fat
That
working.
scene was reshot. Something else happened there. And because I've seen stills of her with the belly that's green while she's wearing the blue dress. Israeli has the most fucking beautiful. Israel has the most beautiful women. It is absurd. If you just like Google Israel hot female army, it's like it basically is Themyscira. Like Gal is just like slightly the prettiest of like a whole world of pretty women. It is absurd.
Well, I think they're just hot babes everywhere, Felk.
No, there's
hot babes everywhere.
Not in Antarctica.
Maybe not. Well, I don't know. Maybe some hot scientist babes are down in Antarctica.
There's like 40 people there. I mean, no, there is definitely nations that are hotter, and Gal just took hers up a few notches. I mean, they all have the representatives, right? Like Margot Robbie's the hottest Australian right now. Charlize Theron's been the hottest South African for forever. Mm-hmm. America's diverse enough that we have different like types, but Marissa Miller was probably always going to be one of the hottest Californians. She embodies California.
Santa Cruz.
She from Santa Cruz?
That's right, baby.
Hey, you got Google? You got Google up?
Yep.
Google for me. All right, you remember that bitch Adrian Pilecki? How she looked in fucking Wonder Woman costume, like she was wearing a goddamn Party City outfit.
Oh yeah, I've seen all versions of it.
Exact same time. Google Kimberly Kane, Wonder Woman.
You should Google Felk when I'm doing this. You should Google crap. What's her name? She's a Denise Milani Wonder Woman. Yeah, Kimberly Kane. Yeah, was she in the show or the movie or whatever it was?
No, she's a porn star. That is the second best live action Wonder Woman costume. Substantially better than the fucking David E. Kelly, Adrian Pilecki version, and obviously much better than even the Linda Carter version, which also was kind of cheesy. Like that is still. I mean, I like the fucking hot pants, half her ass hanging out, like sexy Wonder Woman. Obviously, they can't do that for the movie now. But like,
there was multiple Adrian Pilecki costumes. Just by the way, there was one where she's just wearing
the
like
pants.
the panties. Yeah.
I've seen that one too, and it's okay. And she's Adrian Pilecki's got very nice titties, but that fucking costume is fucking trash. Yeah. No, I've seen it.
Looks great.
She looks great. The costume looks like it's a fucking. She looks like a girl who's drunk on Halloween and is dressed as Wonder Woman, who you be the luckiest boy in town to get a little kiss from or get to go home with you. But she does not look like she's legitimately supposed to be believable as Wonder Woman. That show was a joke. Whereas the fucking porn version with Kimberly Kane looks pretty fucking legit. I mean, it looks
She does.
about as good if you were to make that version of the costume look real. And Wonder Woman's, let's just put it this way, is a difficult costume to do right. And this one, I feel like it got just about everything right. It doesn't. I mean, it's pretty much the exact same costume as in BVS, except now you can actually see some of its color, and it's not super washed out. But it toes that line between Xena Warrior Princess and dumb drunk girl on a Halloween night.
Type this name in for Wonder Woman. Type in Relia Vanderbilt.
Relia,
Rileah Vanderbilt. She played Wonder Woman in a small little YouTube short. She looked great as Wonder Woman as well. And I think she was mainly using that video to pretty much promote her ability to get the role. I think that was 2011 or something like that. I thought that they did that, or maybe 2012, something like that. At least I know they did it before they cast Gal Gadot.
It's pretty similar. Yes. Sorry, Relia Vanderbilt, you didn't get it. It's pretty good. It's pretty similar.
And then the only other Wonder Woman that I can think of besides the Bruce Timm Wonder Woman, which was played by who was the actress that played her? It was
Dina Myers from Starship Troopers.
Oh, Dina Myers. Okay, yes, she was great. But there was another really good Wonder Woman actress, and it was Kerry Russell, and she played Wonder Woman in the DC animated movie Wonder Woman, and that's a great Wonder Woman movie too.
It's pretty good.
That was by far my favorite DC animated movie until the Red Hood one came out.
Recently released or announced was that fucking trailer. Bella Heathcote will be playing the kind of inspiration for Wonder Woman, and Bella Heathcote is a woman I really would like to fuck.
Did you see Neon Demon?
Yeah, that's why
I got to see that as a special screening, and there was way more dead pussy licking and shit. And
that's Jenna Malone. Okay.
Jenna Malone was fucking the shit out of that dead body in the version I saw.
No, good for... Wow, that must have been something.
Yeah, I actually commented on the card and said, too much dead body fucking, or whatever. She was seriously... There's like a hardcore scene where you see like this wide shot of her just fucking fingering the pussy. The dead body pussy. So
yes, Professor William Moulton Marston. William Moulton Marston was the guy who created Wonder Woman, psychologist or psychiatrist who also somewhat invented the polygraph test and had a wife as well as a girlfriend in a polyamorous three-way relationship. And he was really into getting tied up and also tying them up. So 1940s BDSM, combine the ropes and tying up. Okay, Ballard.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So and that's where like the lasso of truth comes from, and the girlfriend that the wife and him. So like Wonder Woman's based on those two women, and there's a movie coming out with fabulous gay Luke Evans playing the professor, and Bella Heathcote will be playing the mistress, who's a largely physical inspiration for Wonder Woman, and that's why I mentioned I want to fuck Bella Heathcote.
I saw that there was a trailer available, but I did not actually watch the trailer yet.
It's not a trailer; it's a teaser. It's like 10 seconds long.
Is she the one that's in Dark Shadows?
No, that's a different chick. Actually, maybe not. I'm not sure. Bella Heathcote. She's in Nazis, and what's the fucking name of the show?
Dark Shadows, Victoria Winters and Josette Dupre. Yeah, she was in Dark Shadows.
Man in the High Castle is the show. I wasn't just randomly mentioning Nazis.
Nazis.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the movies she's in.
I hate these guys.
Except Man in the High Castle and Neon Demon. I have not seen 50 Shades Darker yet. Maybe never will.
No, yeah, probably never will.
No.
You know what? She definitely looks like Tim Burton's type.
She is tasty. Yeah, she is tasty. Kind of see her pussy in Neon Demon.
Neon Demon pussy.
Yeah. Are we done with Wonder Woman? How far are we into this fucking recording? Well, I mean, because I half of what I want to say, I don't even know if I fucking should say.
What do you want to say? Say it now.
I want to say
well.
one of the things I really liked about this movie was the fact that a lot of it was fucking rejecting the bullshit, whiny, lie-based negative aspects of what's commonly referred to as third-wave feminism, while embracing the positive but still relevant messages of first-wave feminism. And I
like how she told Steve Trevor that she didn't need his reasons or he didn't need his help to make choices or whatever the fuck it was. Essentially, that's what I got from it.
Yeah.
When he was like,
Sure.
you can't kill him. She's like, I don't fucking need you to tell me not to do something.
Yeah, that was very first-wave feminism.
I like that.
And
Cool. So that's why I'm in agreement with you then.
Third-wave feminism would be basically hating men, which is what the Ghostbusters marketing was all entirely based off, with a thinly veiled, specific targeted hatred to men on the
and
autism.
You liked this, I guess.
Men on the autism spectrum. Yes, I really liked.
Okay,
I really
want to make
liked
that
this,
clear.
Yes. Other things that are kind of associated with it, or third-wave feminism is often tied in with very pro-Islam messages. So who do they cast as Wonder Woman for this film? An Israeli national who spent an additional 2 extra years in the Israeli Defense Force voluntarily. And in 2014, Gal Gadot tweeted, "I am sending my love and prayers to my fellow Israeli citizens, especially to all the boys and girls who are risking their lives protecting my country against the horrific acts conducted by Hamas, who are hiding like cowards behind women and children. We shall overcome. Shabbat Shalom. Hashtag we're right. Free Gaza from Hamas. Hashtag stop terror. Hashtag love IDF," with a hashtag coexistence thrown in there just to not make it too controversial. But goddamn, did that tweet get brought up a lot about 2 weeks before Wonder Woman came out, of people calling her a Zionist, specifically. A lot of feminist blogs try to co-opt them, and a lot of feminist blogs also kind of aren't too fond of Israel. And I'm not going to get super political, but I fully support Israel's right to exist. I fully support Israel in terms of the Gaza dispute. And I think that it was an incredibly bold decision in 2016. I guess it was mostly Zack Snyder to cast an Israeli national citizen who has spent, additional time in the IDF as Wonder Woman, who is an embodiment of female courage. I think that is a positive message that people should pay attention to.
So cool.
Do you have any feelings on that? Are you willing to go in on that?
I think it's so cool.
Okay. You're not going to go any further on that?
I don't know enough. I'm just a simple pizza delivery driver, and I just don't know enough about these confusing international ideas. So I just keep to myself.
I thought you would know a little bit more about that kind of thing.
I just keep to myself.
All right.
My pizzas, delivering them. I got to get from house to house.
Well, my opinions
and I
do
pays
not...
my ways with my tips and my podcast. So please donate to Patreon.
Well, I just want to then preface that my opinions are for Felk, me, alone, not representative of the entirety of the Cool Boy Nation or the Cool Boy Podcast, that I stand with Israel.
But I, Michael, agree with Felk and think that he has some interesting ideas. And unless somebody gave me like another really good, argument in the contrary, and I was like able to not like find bullshit in it, I might agree with them. But for now, I agree with you until your argument is destroyed.
Okay, there's plenty of information you could find on that. I'm not going to go into all that. I'm just, she was I think 2007's in the Miss Universe contest. She was Miss Israel. She's very beautiful.
This is why I was not maybe paying attention as much to you while you were talking.
Well, so apparently you found a real photo of someone coming on Gal Gadot's face, even though the cock has a different lighting to it, and the cum also looks incredibly Photoshoppy. That must be completely real.
The composition is all off, but I'm pretty sure it's real.
Whoever spent the time to Photoshop that, like that woman was a UN rep. Well, she was briefly a UN representative. So she's a mother of two. Show her some respect.
How much time do you think that person put into that?
I don't know, but there's plenty of women who already have real cum on their face that you can find all over the internet. No reason to Photoshop. No real reason to Photoshop celebrity women poorly getting cum shots. No real reason to.
It's very popular. I've found as we've done like talking bodies so far. I didn't realize how common those fakes are.
Oh man, fuck the UN too, by the way. Because so I don't know if you followed that, but for about like 2 weeks, Gal, along with Linda Carter, were like honorary representatives to the UN because of just for like women, because they were Wonder Woman. And then the fucking 2014 tweet that Gal made that was very pro-Israel was dug up, and the UN just fucking dropped both of them like a hat because we thought about it. We're the UN, and we thought maybe a bad representative for women's interests in the world would be a fictional character, even though it's like they're not fictional characters. They're real women who portrayed a fictional character. You've got Angelina Jolie as an ambassador to fucking Africa. Like, she knows more about that than people who actually have like worked in Africa, as opposed to just adopting kids. It's like it always was a publicity stunt, and then you decided after the fact, with no relation to the fact that somebody noticed the fact that someone who's actually from Israel is pro-Israel, that you completely backpedaled on that. The UN created Israel, and then basically spent the last 50 years trying to undo that, and not a fan of the UN's opinions on this.
Well, we got really political on this episode.
Big factor in why I did not like Civil War is because it's like, couldn't they just made it the U.S. government that was doing like the Sokovia Accords? Why did it have to be the fucking UN? Because then immediately I do side with Cap America, because it's like, if it was any other governing agency that wanted to do oversight over superheroes, especially if it was just the U.S. military, it'd be like, yeah, let's hear them out. This is smart. But it's the UN. It's like, is Tony Stark under the impression that the UN actually accomplishes things in the world as opposed to just creating red tape and meddling? Like, it was a very weird place to put that in there.
But I actually kind of agree with Tony Stark's
I would agree with Tony Stark if it was the fucking U.S. military, or like a coalition of like the U.S., British, Canadian, U.S. ally military. But the fact that it was the UN. It's like North Korea is the only nation that like not in the UN. Everybody's in the UN. It's like the UN's never going to agree that it's time to send in the Hulk.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's like dropping the A-bomb, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you'll never get they'll basically, if it was really the UN deciding when not the Avengers can act, the UN would never fucking be like, yeah, US, send in Thor. Like, so it would have to have been like a smaller contingency of like U.S. allied nations, militaries or governments deciding that, because it was the UN. The Sokovia Accords is fucking terrible and useless.
Well, I guess the idea though of both Captain America Civil War and the idea of this across the board is that they're not there to just be sent into small skirmishes. They're there because the escalation, it's the whole thing of escalation causality that Vision gets into. And I think that them being around does cause, it's like Batman, and the same thing with, from Batman Begins moving into the Dark Knight, it's the escalation.
But yeah, so with Civil War, you actually thought that Tony Stark was right?
I think they're both right. I mean, I think what honestly is one of my favorite things about Civil War is how they presented both sides, and they both are sides you can, as an audience member, can easily agree with, or you can pick one over the other. But you can also understand both very well, and I understood both very well, and I think that's, for me, that's what made it such an emotional movie, is because I was watching these guys who I thought was like, man, you guys have both great ideas, and you're both just kind of not listening to one aspect, or being too stubborn or, headstrong to not like actually be able to like, be malleable enough to like kind of come to an understanding and a compromise, because they were just so both too like, pig-headed. But it was so hard for me because they both are functioning on like like great options and choices.
Yeah, I would feel exactly the same way if it was just like, here's an agreement between like the U.S., the British, the Canadian, the French, the Italian, like all are like fucking basically militaries that can actually like do something. Because it was the UN, like maybe in the Marvel, maybe in the MCU, the UN is an agency that actually can do something, not just a bunch of bickering idiots like in the real world who would never agree that it's time to act.
It is a flawed system, but I think that's kind of what we need the checks and balances for, because everything's such a flawed system. But you know what's not flawed? Gal Gadot's bod.
For more information on Israel, watch the classic 2006 movie Munch, directed by Steven Spielberg.
Munich. which we talked about, I think the last episode, which had like what the most sweaty sex or the most sweaty penetration. And Felk, do you think to this day still, does Nolan think that R-rated films can have penetration? Yes or no?
Dude, we don't want to go into what Nolan thinks can be put in an R-rated movie.
I'm going to go with, I think he does think penetration can be in an R-rated movie.
Yeah, I think he's very unclear with what an R rating is. He might watch porn and think, oh, this is a hard R.
All right. Well, that was Wonder Woman, and I just want to go back over real quickly our Cool Boy ratings. I definitely give this. I think after our conversation, I give it a 5. I think I really liked it. I definitely want to see it one more time, but I'm still leaning between 4.5 and a 5. Felk, your rating is
4.5 out of 5. It is definitely not a perfect film. I think the action sequences are a little too chaotic at times, but the characters are there. We didn't even mention the fact that there's an entire supporting cast that's like they each get just enough of a moment to be interesting characters. And by the way, I really thought that the chief guy, the Native American character, was going to go nay Chuck and grow huge, because I thought it was going to be a twist that he was Apache Chief.
Oh,
but he wasn't. I guess he was just a Native American guy named Chief, and there happens to be a DC character who originated in Super Friends named Apache Chief.
Well, maybe there was like some kind of slight nod to that, even though they realized they were never going to do that character that way.
Yeah,
because I heard somewhere that Samir's character was actually based on another character within DC lore. I'm not sure who, to be honest. So I can't speak on that too much. But look, I'm sure you could look it up easily.
Well, Dr. Poison's a DC character. Oh, we didn't mention Dr. Poison.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the actress who plays Dr. Poison, if you'd like to see her naked and have a Netflix subscription, watch the film Room in Rome. It is the sexiest movie on Netflix, and it's basically just that actress who is smoking hot. She's not really deformed in real life. Naked, basically for an entire movie, in a room with a also very hot Russian chick. It is the hardest R, probably not even R, on Netflix. But no penetration.
Looks great.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and then out of your rating for Wonder Woman, out of all the DC films, you put it at number 2.
Number 2, Dose.
So you're just like me, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad.
Yes.
All right.
I liked, by the way, the fact that every the Themyscira accent just has to be an Israeli accent, because she can't do any other accents. And Robin Wright Penn struggled like fucking crazy to do an Israeli accent.
Oh yeah,
it was like German for a couple lines there, here and there. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, look, she's got limits, but they use the actress within the limits well.
Yeah,
we'll see if Joss Whedon, or Zach Whedon, as he's now called,
Joss Whedon,
can do better. So yes, that brings us once again to a close for this episode, the special episode of the Cool Boys Podcast. You can find new episodes of the regular full show every Monday. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast.
Wait, every Monday where? We should probably say
Yeah. Well, wherever they're listening to this currently.
Yeah, I guess yeah.
It's not like this is just beaming into people's brains and they're like, well, where do I find the next one?
Where did this audio come from?
Yeah. So
it's haunting me.
Pretty self-explanatory that wherever you're currently listening to this is a viable source to listen to the next episode.
All right, yeah. Follow us.
Follow us on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast. Email us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to like and subscribe us on YouTube. You can find us by searching for The Cool Boys Podcast. And be sure to rate and review us on iTunes. And join us on Patreon for additional episodes of Cool Boys After Dark at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast.
Yeah. And it only costs $1.
Yeah, it only costs $1. And you're going to get
$1.
a special additional content of, let's say, about 20-ish minutes. Sometimes more, sometimes less. For each episode every week. That's
not each episode.
For many episodes. Most episodes. Ish.
Yeah, ish.
Every week or so. Or 3 weeks or whenever.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't worry. It's the secrets. When they come out, they come out.
Thank you for listening. This is Byzies from me.
Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. That's Byzies from Ballard, too.
Oh.
Wonder Ballard.
Wonder Ballard.
Wonder Woman.
You are outstanding American boy. You have excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump. Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Get out of here, damn self. Get out of here!
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys Podcast was brought to you by... Is that seriously your rating? tell me what's happening to you. Did I break you?
No, I just wanted to rate it. I just wanted to give it a bad review the whole episode.
Did you really not like it?
No, I loved it, but I wanted to review it. I wanted to review it like someone who just hates it because he doesn't like women and he hates, DC.
Do you want to do that? I mean, I kind of just prefer to do a regular one.
I can do it for as long as I can, and then I'll just come into the movie normally.
Okay.
Nah, fine. Okay, coming out, I'll just give out my real review coming out.
Because I was like, the next thing up is DC's logo, and you're just like, it's terrible, I hate it.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna do. Everything I loved, I was gonna just say I hated it so much. We could try it for a second and see if it works.
Get some
Cool boys.
So serious.